On the very edge of Maplewood Town, where the fields met the whispering forest and the forest met the star-strewn sky, lived a little girl named Stella. She was known for two things: her boundless curiosity and the pair of slippers her grandmother had given her on her 7th birthday. They weren't just any slippers. They were soft as clouds, stitched with silver thread, and covered in tiny beads that shimmered like dew. But the most curious thing was this: in the dark, they glowed, not with the faint green of fireflies or the pale blue of moonlight, but with a warm, golden sparkle like they'd trapped stardust inside. "Wear them when the stars are brightest," her grandmother had whispered that night. "They might just show you the way to something you've been dreaming of." For months, Stella wondered what that meant. But life in Maplewood was quiet, and she never had a reason to test her slippers until one extraordinary night. It began when she couldn't sleep. The moon was huge outside her window, silver light spilling across her bed. She slipped out from under the covers, and the moment her feet touched the floor, the slippers began to glow. Not just a little glow, bright, twinkling, pulsing light, as if they were excited. Then came the first strange thing. They moved. Not like they had a mind of their own exactly, but like they were tugging her forward, gently, insistently. Heart thudding, Stella tiptoed out of her room, down the creaky staircase, and into the cool night. The slippers led her past the garden, past the tall grass swaying in the wind, and straight toward the forest. The deeper she went, the more the slippers sparkled, casting golden flecks onto the trees. And then, quite suddenly, the forest ended, replaced by a hill she'd never noticed before. At its top stood a single, silver gate with no fence, no wall, just standing there, glowing faintly in the moonlight. As she stepped closer, she saw that beyond the gate there was no ground. Instead, it opened into the night sky itself, a swirling sea of stars stretching into forever. The slippers tugged her again, and before Stella could think about how impossible this was, she stepped through. She didn't fall, she floated. The slippers carried her upward, past constellations she'd only ever seen in books. The Great Bear rumbled a friendly hello, the swan dipped its head in greeting. Shooting stars zipped past her like playful fish, leaving trails of silver light in their wake. The higher they went, the more magical it became. Stella saw cities made of moonstone, where glowing rabbits leapt from rooftop to rooftop. She passed rivers of light where star whales sang in deep, echoing voices. She even glimpsed a colossal tree growing right out of the edge of the universe, its branches dripping with planets instead of fruit. Finally, the slippers slowed and carried her toward a cluster of soft, glowing clouds. There, sitting on a crescent moon, was a woman dressed in midnight blue, her hair flowing like the Milky Way. Her eyes sparkled like the North Star itself. "Welcome, Stella," the woman said, her voice like the hush before dawn. "I am Solara, keeper of the star paths." Stella, trying very hard not to gape, managed to squeak, "You know my name?" Solara smiled. "Of course. Your grandmother once walked these skies too. She asked me to give you the slippers when you were ready." "My grandmother was here? She was a brave traveler, just like you, and now it's your turn to help." Solara's gaze turned serious. "One of our stars has gone missing. Without it, a whole village in the night sky will lose its light. Will you find it for us?" Stella didn't even hesitate. "Yes." The slippers lifted her off the crescent moon and carried her toward a dark patch in the sky. There, floating all alone, was a little star, no bigger than a kitten, trembling and dim. When Stella reached it, she asked softly, "What happened to you?" The star sniffled, if such a thing is possible for a star. "I was shining over a little boy's window when he made a wish to never be lonely again. I wanted to stay with him, but I drifted too far and got lost." Stella's heart squeezed. "Come on, I'll take you home." The slippers whisked them back through constellations and rivers of light until they reached a bright, cozy cluster of stars. The moment the little one returned, the whole patch of sky lit up again, warmer than before. The other stars twinkled their thanks, and Stella felt a joy so deep it was almost like music. Solara appeared again, smiling. "You have a kind heart, Stella. That's why the slippers chose you." Stella looked down. "Do I have to go back now?" "Every traveler must return," Solara said gently. "But the slippers will always know the way, and so will you." Reluctantly, Stella let the slippers carry her back down through the gate, through the forest, and to her home. She climbed into bed, slippers still faintly glowing, her mind swirling with images of moon cities and star whales. The next morning, Stella awoke to find something new. Tucked inside one slipper was a single, tiny bead that glowed faintly gold. When she touched it, she felt a rush of warmth and heard a whisper, almost like her grandmother's voice. "One day, you'll walk the star paths again." From that night on, whenever the stars shone especially bright, Stella would slip on her glowing slippers and wait. And sometimes, just sometimes, they would begin to tug at her feet again, leading her toward the gate in the forest, toward another night of wonder in the skies. But no matter how many adventures she had, she never forgot the little star she brought home. And on especially clear nights, when she looked up, she could swear it twinkled just for her like a friend waving from far, far away.